there, Pokemon trainers. I'm Ash.
And I'm Nick.
Barely awake today, obviously.
I
but
am coming from the afterlife, yes.
Today we're taking it a little easy. We're going to be talking about some of the news again, because we've seen a lot going on again just within the past month since we did the last news episode. So let's start it off with what just finished up yesterday: the Salt Lake City regionals. We ended up managing to tune in to, towards the end of it. We got to see the part of the final match. Needless to say, I was very surprised to see Gengar VMAX taking the spotlight for that win. But another surprise, well, not so much surprise, but the thing we noticed is all of these decks, well, not all of them, but a grand majority of them were running Arceus, which goes to show that Arceus kind of slots into everything.
Yep. I mean, when you're playing generic energy, it is kind of a all-purpose tool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, of the top 16, I think only 2 were Mew VMAX, which was another big surprise, and also kind of the polar opposite of how the Brisbane regionals ended up going, where I think at least half the decks were Mew VMAX, and this was just about 2 weeks ago, so it was still after the Brilliant Stars release. But
I'm wondering if just that little 2-week buffer gave people enough time to kind of play test the decks and figure out how to slot the Arceus in there, whereas with Brisbane, it was still a little early on.
That is that, and just there's some other great cards that have come from Brilliant Stars, such as Beedrill was in a grand majority of decks, something I was honestly predicting, as much as you don't like it. It's a great utility card just to help keeping your hand full and getting you what you need. And just...
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get to see... I don't... Have they released all the deck lists yet, or...
I unfortunately cannot find the deck list for the gentleman that won first place in the Salt Lake Regionals, but I did look through some of the other deck lists. If you guys are interested in looking at these deck lists yourself, there's a website called Pokemon TCG Stats. You can literally just Google it, and they'll have a lot of like the deck lists that you see in these tournaments. It's really cool to see how people approach these decks, and a lot of them will maybe have 1 or 2 differences. So it's nice to see.
Definitely. Also, I'm interested to see once the full probably top 16 lists get out, just how those decks were looking.
Because it was first place, at least for Salt Lake City, first place was Gengar, second place was Suicune Ludicolo, third place I want to say was I actually don't remember.
Sorry, third place.
I want to say it was probably Bird Box, but I could be wrong on that one. Bird Box is still very popular, and honestly, I don't blame it. That's a fun deck. Especially with Arceus V-Star slotting in so perfectly to grab you whatever energy you need at that point. But yeah, tournaments are in full swing. Unfortunately, these are, the large tournaments. Local tournament play is still not really allowed. I think there's only one country right now that even allows this stuff. And even then, they're saying that league season and everything is not coming back for 2022.
I mean, even just those large tournaments, watching them, they were still being very cautious with how they were taking everything with player distancing, requiring masks on camera. It was looking like all the judges were required to be a certain distance away from all the other players during the entire event. Like, Pokemon's taking this very seriously, so it's probably going to be a very slow roll. Moving back towards organized play again. Yeah.
And with that, I just want to give the reminder of, we unfortunately, game stores as a whole, we can't control this kind of stuff. This is ultimately Pokemon's decision. If they say we can't run events, then we have to listen to them, or else we could, get in trouble with big Pokemon. And we don't want that.
Yeah, they've got the scary lawyers.
So, as much as a lot of us would love to have, in-game play tournaments again, league, all that kind of stuff, we have to wait for Pokemon to make the final decision on when that will be back open for all of us.
Yep.
But, I don't know. I guess we'll use that as a nice little segue to go to our next topic of some teasers of some of the new sets that we have coming out. In July, starting July 1st, we have our specialty set, Pokemon Go, coming out. It's going to be inspired all around, obviously, Pokemon Go. No, nothing really big there. We don't know a whole lot just yet, other than I want to say it's like an 81 card set. I think was the number. So it's going to be a small set overall, but that usually the specialty sets are. We know that one of the special premium, not premium collections, but one of the special collections is going to be featuring one of the leaders, so you can get one of each for all the leaders. It'll come with a pin, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. Honestly, it's kind of surprised how tight-lipped this one has been so far.
I'm wondering. I don't want to speculate too much, but I'm wondering if it's going to be another Shining Fates, where it's a small specialty set where they, like with Shining Fates, I had the Shining Pokemon. We might be getting like, here's the gym leader's Pokemon, or not gym leader, the faction, I guess maybe. Something like that, where it's going to be another small one where the idea is going to be another specialized around each specific team rather than a larger set.
There's also speculation that the sparkling Pokemon might come into play in this. The sparkling Pokemon, if you are not aware, are something that we've seen teased on the Japanese side of things, where they're Pokemon similar to the prison Pokemon that we saw back in Sun and Moon, where you can only have one in your deck, and that's it. But they usually, because of that, they usually have really strong attacks or abilities that make them something that you want to keep in your deck, even if you can only have the one. So there's speculation about that. I know a lot of people are hoping that we just, for shiny Pokemon, we might see that. Like, it's
still not a lot known. So
we're still a few months away. So hopefully we'll know more about that. But in closer news, we've been looking at Astral Radiance, or specifically on the Japanese side of things. Oh God, it's Space Juggler in time. I can't even remember the other set's name.
I'm gonna call it Time Clown to go with that theme. Space Juggler and Time Clown.
But they've been slowly showing leaks from this. One of the ones that has me most excited right now is Temple of Sinnoh, a new stadium that takes the place of Dusk Noir. That is something people have been wanting to add to their decks, but just have been having difficulty slotting in due to the fact that it is stage 2. But essentially what it does is all energy that is all non-basic energy turn into colorless and don't have any additional abilities. So things like Mew that relies heavily on the fusion energy. I know there's some people who use hiding energy with Moltres and things like that. Seeing that suddenly get, nerfed is pretty scary. Like, I don't know. I'm excited for it. Like, it's a nice one that you can use against a good portion of decks, but it's not like overwhelming where Path of the Peak can literally break you if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the spoilers. I like to get blindsided by these things on like release days. Outside of the occasional, like, what was it for the last set, like crab?
Oh yeah,
you
crab.
have to see the crab. I'm like, all right, I have to look for crab.
Yeah, there was Crabominable V that I immediately showed Nick, and he kind of loved it. Yeah. Granted, there is one spoiler that you've been excited about.
Oh, what was that again?
Dialga V Star.
Fair.
Obviously, with Astral Radiance, we're looking at, Dialga, Palkia, and Nick is already very adamant.
No.
Listen, it features Hisui Pokemon. I'm gonna bring Adamant into it. He's amazing. Yes. You're just jealous because you haven't played it.
I'm just not getting the satisfaction of that pun.
But yeah, the cool thing about Dialga V Star is its attack does a flat 220 damage, and you take another turn.
Yeah.
Which is, a little scary,
Mhm.
but it's well worth the 5 metal energy it requires to use it. Oh, that if people could get it off, especially with Arceus again slotting into so many decks, it won't be too terrible to pull off. Too hard to pull off, I should say.
I am looking forward to just taking multiple turns, hopefully in one game. Of just all right, it's my turn, and it's my turn, and it's my turn.
Like I said, just run Yoga Loop Metacham with it.
Yeah, there you go. Already solved.
And then, literally just today, we saw another spoiler for Sneezler V, which yes, they just teased Sneezler V. At first it seems kind of underwhelming. Its main attack does 80 damage times the amount of special elements that are affecting your opponent's Pokemon. So it doesn't seem bad at first. It seems underwhelming at first, but then you remember that right now in Standard is Tricolored Scales Butterfree. That inflicts burn, paralysis, and confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Or poison, one of the two. I think
confusion,
it's 3 of them in one go, so that's 240 damage if you play your cards right. Like that's enough to take out a lot of ease.
Yeah.
So it's it's not going to be popular. No, I'm not seeing it be popular, but funny, absolutely. We've also seen Beedrill V was teased. It was again interesting, not too powerful or anything. We've also seen, some of the other Hisui forms. We know that the promos that are going to be in the build and battle boxes are going to be, I want to say Basculegion, Weirdeer, and then 2 others that I can't remember. But 3 of the 4 were either Hisui forms or Hisui specialties. Again, Weirdeer and Basculegion. But it's going to be an interesting set. Nothing too powerful, but, good utility overall.
I think you called it another Chilling Reign.
Yeah, it's going to be a solid set, but nothing, I don't want to say nothing to chase after, but it's...
Solid, but the chase it's not going to have the collector chase
like
value.
Charizard.
Yeah.
Always the Charizards. And actually, speaking of
Which,
that, I think
that is the segue to the next story, which is technically a cautionary tale in not spending money like an idiot, but I'm going to call it a cautionary tale in not buying Charizards. A North Carolina man has been sentenced to 3 years in federal prison over a Pokemon card. He received, I believe it was an $81,000 small business loan, and chose to spend, I believe, $56,000 of it on a base set Shadowless 9.5 Charizard. The federal government obviously wasn't exactly thrilled by this and decided that's not exactly a business expense. It's kind of an older story, but he was recently sentenced a couple of days ago, which is why it's coming up again. Although more importantly now, that means the federal government now owns a Charizard.
Specifically 9.5 Charizard.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it about 3 to 4 years after this guy gets out of prison to see a government auction for a Pokemon card. Although, a little down to that is that as he chose to spend his $80,000 business loan on non-business expenses, he's also now required to pay back that full $81,000, plus I believe an additional $10,000 of fines. So... if you happen to be a small business owner out there and you want to buy a Pokemon card, maybe don't write it off as a business expense on your taxes. The federal government doesn't think it's funny. And they have the scariest lawyers.
The more we talk about it, the more it just feels like it's straight out of Onion.
It really feels like a sitcom sketch. 9.5 Charizard owned by the government. Which, I mean, granted, depending on who's currently handling this case, there might be an employee considering committing theft for the first time in their life.
I wouldn't, but...
I mean, $56,000 payout. And all they gotta do is sneak out with one little Pokemon card. Turn into Oceans, what are we up to, 14 now?
I don't know, because I think they restarted it and did the all-female cast with Ocean's 11, I thought.
Well, maybe then Ocean's 12 for a Shadow's Charizard. One final heist.
Oh, jeez. But I don't know. I think this pretty much wraps things up. Yeah. Like, still no news on when Pokemon Alive's coming out. Again, I'm just eagerly awaiting that one. But otherwise, I don't think there's been a whole lot going on. Just a lot of spoilers for the upcoming set, of course, that we'll be seeing right around my birthday in May. Oh, actually, no, I did remember. Another thing that we know we will be getting is we will be getting a new version of the Trainer Toolkit. We're wondering, we're honestly speculating, because they do include the V-Star marker in it, if they might be including like Arceus V and V-Star in that, as they did with the last one with the Crobat Vs. We obviously don't know, but it's fun to speculate. Yeah. And I believe in the middle of June we'll also be getting the new League decks of Shadow and Ice Rider Calyrex, which are going to be, I mean, looking at the Urshifu decks, these will be fun.
I mean, we're going to be playing them no matter what, but Calyrex, that's pretty nice. I know that you've been playing around with different Calyrex builds for quite a while now, so that'll be interesting to see how they do theirs.
Oh yeah, it's I pretty much as soon as they showed those cards, I was on the boat for Shadow Rider, and then I came around to Ice Rider. So
yeah, we're definitely right now. It's kind of the lull before the next big Pokemon drop.
Like we know there's going to be a lot upcoming this year. Yeah. Like, we probably won't be seeing Scarlet and Violet Pokemon up until probably next year. Probably we might see them in the first set come like January, February. But we know we'll have that to look forward to eventually. We still have dozens of trainer rares that are in like Japan that we haven't seen here in the States, so we know those will be slotted in throughout the rest of it. Honestly, it's going to be a jam-packed year. There might be a lull right now, but there's always things going on in the background. So. Oh yeah.
And I mean, with at least with the regional tournaments coming back, hopefully we'll also be getting to see getting to do some deck breakdowns once we start seeing deck lists and we can get more regular tournaments.
Oh, absolutely. I know one of the other ones, actually going back to that, one of the ones that interested me the most was I think it was second place in the Brisbane one, was actually a Duraludon VMAX deck. So I'm also excited to see, Duraludon get play, because that also just says it can't be hurt by Pokemon that are using special energy. So it's an intriguing build. And I remember seeing a Flygon V. So there are some interesting decks going around. And yeah, I'm excited to look at breakdowns and everything. I know in May, Indianapolis will be holding a regional tournament. I'm hoping I can go to that. It might. It's unlikely, but
Shoot for
I can
stars.
dream.
The V-Stars.
But yeah, I think that pretty much covers most of the news that's been going on the past month or so. Yeah. But like I said, always more to look for. Oh yeah. And we won't be the first to cover it, but we'll absolutely try our best to cover it. So as always, I'm Ash.
I'm Nick.
And we'll catch you next time.